The enemies guard the tomb. In our lesson today, we want to find out, how did Jesus show his blank over blank and the blank? See if as we go through the story, you discover what those words could possibly be. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus had buried Jesus in a cave-like tomb and rolled a large stone in front of the entrance. But even though Jesus was dead and buried, the Jewish leaders were still worried. They remembered that Jesus had said he would rise from the dead on the third day. So on the day after Jesus was crucified, some of these Jewish leaders went to see Pilate. They told him, "We remember that while this liar Jesus was still alive, he told the people, 'After 3 days, I will come back to life again and rise from the dead.' So will you order your soldiers to guard Jesus' tomb for the next 3 days? Otherwise, his disciples might steal his body and tell everyone that he has risen from the dead. Then the people might believe that Jesus was the Messiah, as he claimed to be. We want to make sure they don't fool the people in this way." Pilate answered, "All right. Take some soldiers and do whatever you think is necessary to make the tomb as secure as you can." So the Roman soldiers and the leaders went to Joseph's garden, and after they had checked the tomb, they put a seal on the stone so that it wouldn't be moved without breaking the seal. Then the leaders went home and left the soldiers to guard the grave. Very early on Sunday morning, the third day after Jesus had died on the cross, the Roman soldiers were still guarding the grave of Jesus. Suddenly, something amazing happened. A powerful earthquake shook the ground, and an angel came down from heaven and rolled away the stone from the entrance to the tomb. The tomb was already empty. Jesus had risen from the dead and had left his sealed grave. Something I want to point out to you, 3rd and 4th grade, with this story is that often we think that the angels rolled the stone away so that Jesus could get out. Jesus didn't need anybody to roll the stone away for him. He was already risen from the grave, and he didn't need the stone to be moved because he is God. He doesn't need an open doorway to get through anywhere. But that was the reason why the angels did that, is so that others could see that Jesus wasn't there. The angel sat on the stone that had rolled away. His face was like lightning, and his clothes were as white as snow. The guards shook with fear. Look at that. They were so scared, and they fainted and fell to the ground so full of fear that they couldn't move. When they recovered, they got up and ran into the city to tell the Jewish leaders everything that had happened. Well, this was shocking news. The Jewish leaders called a meeting to decide what to do. They came up with a plan to keep the truth from the people. First, they gave the guards a large amount of money and told them not to tell anyone else what they had seen. Then they made up a story for them to tell. "If anyone asks you what happened," they said, "tell them that Jesus' disciples came during the night and stole his body away while you were sleeping." But the leaders also knew that if Pilate heard about this, he would put the soldiers to death because it was a crime to fall asleep on duty. So they told the soldiers, if by any chance Pilate hears about this, we'll take care of it. We'll make sure that you won't be punished. So the soldiers took the money and did as they were told. We wanted to find out, how did Jesus show his power over death and the grave? Well, Jesus raised himself from the dead and left his sealed grave.